The story of the 1981 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar begins many decades before the year 1981 itself. To truly appreciate this coin and understand why collectors today are willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars for a single example, we need to first travel back to the origins of the Washington quarter series. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of the first President of the United States, George Washington. The coin replaced the standing Liberty quarter, which had been in circulation since 1916. The design chosen for the Washington quarter was created by sculptor John Flanagan. His portrait of George Washington featured a dignified profile facing left with the word Liberty above his head and the national motto "In God We Trust" placed just to the left. The reverse design displayed a majestic bald eagle with outspread wings clutching a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing both the strength and the peaceful intentions of the nation. This design remained largely unchanged for many decades, making the Washington quarter one of the most recognizable and widely used coins in the United States. Now fast forward to the early 1980s. The United States Mint was still producing Washington quarters in massive quantities for everyday commerce. The quarter at this time was made from a copper-nickel-clad composition consisting of an inner core of pure copper and outer layers of a copper-nickel alloy. This composition had been introduced in 1965 after rising silver prices had forced the government to remove silver from most circulating coinage. The year 1981 was an era of economic transition. Inflation had been high throughout the late 1970s, and the American economy was shifting toward new challenges. Yet the Mint continued its duty of producing billions of coins each year to meet the needs of commerce. The Denver Mint was one of the primary facilities striking Washington quarters that year. Coins from this mint bore the D Mint mark just to the right of the ribbon in Washington's hair. The 1981 D quarter was a workhorse coin intended to pass from hand to hand in grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines, and every corner of the economy. Tens of millions were made, and for most people there was nothing special about them. They were pocket change, not treasure. But numismatics teaches us that sometimes hidden among the ordinary are coins with extraordinary stories and extraordinary values. What makes a 1981 D Washington quarter worth $31,908 today is not its mintage alone nor its metal content. It is the combination of condition, rarity, and high grades, and the intense desire of collectors to own the finest examples known. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a flawless coin as perfect as the day it was struck under a microscope. While many millions of 1981 D quarters still exist, most are heavily circulated, showing scratches, worn surfaces, and loss of original mint luster. Finding one in nearly perfect mint state condition with sharp strikes, brilliant surfaces, and no distracting marks is incredibly rare. For the 1981 D quarter in particular, the top population coins graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC can command staggering prices at auction. Imagine a coin that was struck in Denver over 40 years ago surviving without ever entering circulation and being preserved in pristine condition. Such a coin would be a time capsule capturing the exact moment of its creation. The reason collectors are willing to pay over $31,000 for such a coin is because it represents the pinnacle of quality for that date, and mintmark.in the numismatic world, rarity comes in different forms. There is absolute rarity when few coins exist at all, and there is conditional rarity when coins exist in abundance but very few survive in top condition. The 1981 D quarter falls into the second category. The Denver Mint struck over 600 million quarters that year, but only a handful have been certified in the highest mint state grades. This scarcity in perfect condition drives competition among registry set collectors. Registry set collecting is a form of numismatic competition where individuals strive to assemble the highest graded complete set of a particular coin series. When two or more determined collectors need the same top-grade example for their sets, the bidding can escalate rapidly. Beyond condition, there are also subtle varieties and errors that can make certain 1981 D quarters even more valuable. Some coins show minor doubling on the obverse lettering or date, known as a doubled die variety. Others may have striking errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or weak strikes that create unusual appearances. While these errors are rare and sometimes valuable, the record-breaking prices for this coin are generally tied to immaculate examples in the finest grades. To understand the journey of such a coin from the Denver Mint to the auction block, let us imagine the life of a perfect 1981 D quarter. It is struck by precision dies under great pressure, imparting the sharp details of Washington's profile and the eagle on the reverse. The coin falls into a bin among thousands of its siblings. By sheer luck, it escapes the bumps and abrasions that most coins suffer during transport and counting. Perhaps it is plucked from circulation by an attentive bank employee or collector shortly after leaving the mint. It is then stored in a protective holder where it remains untouched for decades. When eventually submitted to a grading service, the experts examine it under magnification and assign it the coveted top grade. This grade transforms an ordinary 25-cent piece into a numismatic gem worth tens of thousands of dollars. The market for high-grade modern coins has grown significantly in recent decades. While older coins like Morgan silver dollars or early copper cents have long been prized by collectors, there is now a strong demand for pristine examples of more recent issues. The 1981 D quarter sits at the intersection of nostalgia and rarity. Many collectors remember using these coins in their youth, and owning a flawless example brings a tangible connection to that era. Combined with the challenge of finding one in perfect condition, this nostalgia fuels demand and pushes prices to remarkable heights. When we look at the current market value of $31,908 for a top-graded 1981 D quarter, we must remember that this price reflects more than just metal and mintage. It represents the passion of collectors, the skill of the engraver, the precision of the mint, and the sheer improbability of survival in perfect form. For every one of these coins that brings such a price, there are millions that will forever remain worth just 25 cents. This contrast is part of what makes coin collecting so fascinating. In the years to come, the value of the 1981 D quarter in top condition may continue to rise as more collectors enter the market, and as existing examples are tightly held in private collections. Auction records will be watched closely, and each new sale will set benchmarks for what the numismatic community is willing to pay. It is entirely possible that one day a perfect 1981 D quarter could surpass even its current lofty price. For the casual observer, the idea that a coin from the 1980s could be worth as much as a luxury car may seem unbelievable. But in the world of numismatics, where rarity, quality, and collector demand converge, even the most common-seeming coins can become treasures. The 1981 D Washington quarter dollar is proof of this reality. It reminds us that history can be held in the palm of your hand, and that sometimes the smallest objects can carry the greatest stories. So, the next time you have a handful of change, take a closer look. Examine the dates, the mint marks, and the condition. You may not find a $31,000 quarter, but you will be participating in a tradition of curiosity and discovery that has captivated people for centuries. Coin collecting is not just about profit, it is about preserving pieces of the past and appreciating the artistry and craftsmanship that go into each coin. And somewhere out there, another 1981 D quarter waits, unseen, uncirculated, and flawless, ready to astonish the world when it finally emerges from the shadows of history into the bright lights of an auction room. Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. Today we are going to explore a modern treasure that many people overlook. It is a coin that could be sitting unnoticed in a jar on your kitchen counter, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right collector to discover it. I am talking about the 1998 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar, a coin that, under the right conditions, has sold for an eye-watering $90,998. That's right, a quarter worth nearly $100,000. And in this video we will walk through its history, the reasons behind its value, how to identify it, and what makes it such a sought-after collectible in the numismatic community. Let's start with the historical backdrop. The year 1998 was an interesting time for United States coinage. The Washington quarter design had been in use since 1932, originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. John Flanagan's portrait of the first president had graced the obverse of the coin for over 6 decades, becoming one of the most recognized coin designs in American history. By the late 1990s, the U.S. Mint was preparing for a major change that would revolutionize the way people viewed the quarter. the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. But before that historic program began, the 1998 quarters were struck as the final full year of the classic eagle reverse design. This makes 1998 a transitional and sentimental year for collectors. It marks the end of an era and the last time the eagle reverse would appear on quarters intended for circulation before the 50-state designs took over. The Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark, played a significant role in producing 1998 quarters. The Denver facility, located in Colorado, has been striking coins since 1906 and is known for its high output and precision. In 1998, millions of Washington quarters were struck at the Denver Mint for circulation, but within that massive production, a tiny handful were produced with exceptional quality or unusual characteristics that would later make them valuable rarities. The Mint Mark D, located to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse, indicates the coin was struck in Denver. Now, why would a coin from 1998, a year when hundreds of millions of quarters were made, be worth nearly $91,000? The answer lies in a combination of extreme condition rarity, minting errors, and collector demand. You see, most 1998 D quarters you find in your pocket change will be worth face value, maybe a few cents over if they are in pristine, uncirculated condition. But there are certain examples that are graded at the very top of the scale by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. When we talk about grades like MS68 or MS69, we are referring to coins that are virtually flawless under magnification. These coins are the cream of the crop, with perfect strike, sharp details, and blazing luster. The higher the grade, the fewer survive, and collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts to own the best. One famous example of the 1998 D Washington quarter in this near-perfect condition sold at auction for $90,998. That price was not just because of its grade but also due to heightened competition among top collectors who were trying to complete registry sets. A registry set is a competitive way collectors try to assemble the highest graded examples of every coin in a series, and sometimes the bidding wars can push prices into the stratosphere. Another factor contributing to the value is that some 1998 D quarters exhibit rare mint errors. These errors could include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. For example, a wrong planchet error could mean a quarter was accidentally struck on a blank intended for a foreign coin or a nickel. Such mistakes are extremely rare and highly collectible. The combination of the last year of design nostalgia, pristine condition, and possible mint errors has created the perfect storm for high auction results. Let's take a closer look at the design itself, because part of the coin's appeal is its artistry and historical continuity. On the obverse we see the classic portrait of George Washington facing left, designed by John Flanagan based on a bust by French sculptor Jean-Antoine Houdon. Washington's hair is tied back in a low ponytail with a ribbon, and the inscriptions include Liberty at the top, In God We Trust to the left, and the date 1998 at the bottom. The small D Mint mark is to the right of the ribbon. On the reverse, we have a bold heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness for war, while olive branches below represent peace. The inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum are above, with $quarter at the bottom. The 1998 D Mint mark Washington quarter is also historically important because it bridges the gap between the traditional design and the new era of the state quarters. Many collectors like to include it in their sets as the final chapter of the pre-state quarter era. This adds to its demand, especially in gem mint condition. So how can you tell if you have one of these valuable coins? First, check the mint mark. It must be a D, not a P or an S. Next, examine the coin's condition. If it has any scratches, wear, or dullness, it is unlikely to be in the ultra-high grade that brings top dollar, but it could still have some premium if it's uncirculated. If you suspect your coin is in exceptional condition, the next step is to have it graded by a reputable third-party grading service. Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, are the two most recognized. A coin graded at MS68 or MS69 can be worth thousands or tens of thousands, while a coin graded lower will have much less value. Point 1 important tip: be cautious of cleaning your coin. Many people make the mistake of trying to polish or clean a coin to make it look shiny. This will almost always reduce its value, as cleaning leaves microscopic scratches that grading experts can detect instantly. Collectors prefer original luster, even if it's slightly toned or discolored. Now let's talk numbers. In average circulated condition, a 1998 D quarter is worth 25 cents. In mint state grades like MS65, it might bring $3 to $5. At MS67, the price jumps to around $200. At MS68, we are looking at thousands, and at MS69, the holy grail for modern quarters, the price can explode to tens of thousands. The record holder at $90,998 is an extreme case, achieved in a major auction where two determined bidders pushed the price far beyond normal expectations. But even if your coin is not a record breaker, a high-grade example can still bring a life-changing amount of money. Collectors who focus on modern coins know that finding these high-grade survivors is extremely difficult. Most coins struck for circulation go through counting machines, bagging, transport, and handling, which can cause tiny nicks and abrasions before they even leave the mint. This is why coins in the highest grades are often found in original mint sets or proof sets, though for 1998 the proof coins were struck in San Francisco with an S mint mark, not a D. Still, uncirculated rolls and mint sets from 1998 D are worth searching through for hidden gems. In conclusion, the 1998 D mint mark Washington quarter is more than just pocket change. It is a tangible link to American history, the last breath of a classic design before the new millennium, and in some cases, a ticket to extraordinary value. The combination of condition rarity, potential errors, and historical significance makes it a favorite among serious collectors. So the next time you get a handful of quarters and change, take a close look at the date and mint mark. You never know when you might be holding a small piece of metal worth nearly $100,000. And that wraps up our journey through the story of the 1998 D Washington quarter. From its creation at the Denver Mint to its record-breaking auction sales, it is a coin that proves treasures still exist in our everyday currency. Keep your eyes open, keep learning about coins, and maybe someday you'll be the one to find the next numismatic jackpot. Welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving into a fascinating and truly extraordinary story from the world of modern American coin collecting. This is not just any quarter we are talking about, it is the 2019 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, a small piece of metal that for most people is worth 25 cents but in certain rare cases has been valued at a staggering $91,762. That is not a typo, this is the same coin you might receive in change from the grocery store or find in your couch cushions, yet under the right circumstances it becomes a treasure worth more than a brand new luxury car. Let us start with a bit of history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design by sculptor John Flanagan featured Washington's portrait on the obverse or front side and a heraldic eagle on the reverse or back side. For decades this design remained largely unchanged, until the turn of the 21st century when the United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program from 1999 to 2008, followed by the District of Columbia and United States Territories quarters in 2009, and later the America the Beautiful quarters program from 2010 to 2021. By the time we arrive in 2019, the America the Beautiful series was still ongoing, and that year featured several unique reverse designs honoring national parks and historic sites. But here is where things get even more interesting. In 2019, the Mint also introduced something completely new and unexpected known as the W Mint quarters struck at the West Point Mint. These coins were released directly into circulation in extremely small numbers to promote coin collecting. However, our focus today is not on the W Mint coins but rather the P Mint Mark coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which served as the main source for general circulation. The Philadelphia Mint has been in operation since 1792 and is the oldest mint facility in the United States. Its coins are marked with a P Mint mark except for some years in the past when Philadelphia coins carried no mark. The 2019 P Mint Mark Washington quarters are among the most common coins minted that year, with hundreds of millions produced. Yet, as we all know in the world of coin collecting, rarity and value are not always determined by how many were made but by how many survive in pristine condition or have unique features. So why would a 2019 P Mint Mark Washington quarter be worth over $91,000? The answer lies in a combination of factors that can drive collectors wild. First is condition. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can fetch enormous prices. We are talking about coins that have never seen circulation, coins that were struck perfectly with full detail, and without even the smallest scratch or mark. These are known as mint state or MS coins, and in this case an MS68 or MS69 grade can be nearly flawless. Next is the presence of rare errors or varieties in the minting process. Mistakes can happen, and when they do, collectors take notice. Some 2019 P quarters have been found with double die obverse or reverse features where parts of the design appear doubled. Others show off center strikes where the design is misaligned or struck multiple times. In extremely rare cases, coins are struck on the wrong planchet or metal blank, creating a one-of-a-kind error coin. Such mistakes are often quickly removed from circulation by quality control, but a few can slip through, making them incredibly valuable to the right collector. Another important factor is demand. The 2019 quarters are part of the popular America the Beautiful series, which has its own dedicated fan base. Many collectors strive to complete full sets and will pay top dollar for the finest examples of each design. This demand drives up prices, especially for coins with special attributes in auction settings. This competitive atmosphere can push the final hammer price to jaw-dropping levels, which is exactly how a 2019 P Mint Mark Washington quarter in top condition with a rare variety ended up selling for $91,762. Now let us talk about the designs themselves. In 2019, the America the Beautiful program released quarters featuring Lowell National Historical Park in Massachusetts, American Memorial Park in the Northern Mariana Islands, War in the Pacific National Historical Park in Guam, San Antonio Missions National Historical Park in Texas, and Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness in Idaho. Each reverse design is beautifully detailed and tells a unique story about the heritage and history of the United States. The obverse retained the familiar Washington portrait but with subtle modern refinements over the years. When holding a 2019 P quarter in your hand, most people will see an ordinary coin, but a trained eye will notice details such as strike sharpness, luster, and centering. These subtle elements are what separate a coin worth 25 cents from one worth tens of thousands. In the coin collecting world, it is often said that condition is king, and this could not be more true for modern coins like the 2019 P. Finding one of these rare and valuable coins is a matter of luck and vigilance. They can turn up in pocket change, bank rolls, or even unsearched bags of coins from the bank. Some collectors actively hunt for them by purchasing large quantities of quarters and searching through them with magnifying tools. Others rely on estate sales, flea markets, and coin shows where rare finds sometimes surface unexpectedly. If you think you might have a valuable 2019 P quarter, here is what you should do. First, examine it carefully under good lighting. Look for sharp, crisp details and a bright, unbroken surface free of scratches. If you suspect an error such as doubling, misalignment, or unusual metal composition, set the coin aside and avoid touching the surface with your bare fingers. The oils from skin can damage the finish. Store it in a protective holder and consider sending it to a reputable grading service for authentication and grading. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin is how it represents the intersection of history, artistry, and modern minting technology. While it is a contemporary coin, it still carries the legacy of the Washington quarter tradition that began nearly a century ago. It also highlights the thrill of coin collecting, where any small detail can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Think about it for a moment. Every coin that passes through your hands has a story. It was struck from metal that was mined, refined, and shaped by human hands. It traveled through the machinery of the United States Mint, then entered the vast network of commerce. From there, it might have been passed from store to store, from pocket to pocket, until one day it landed in the hands of someone who recognized its hidden value. That is the magic of numismatics. The 2019 P Mint Mark Washington quarter, worth $91,762, is a perfect example of this magic. It shows us that treasures are still out there in plain sight, waiting for someone with knowledge and curiosity to find them. For every person who dismisses a quarter as small change, there is a collector who sees it as a potential masterpiece worthy of preservation. So the next time you receive change, take a moment to look at your coins closely. Check the date, check the mint mark, check for any unusual details. You might be holding something that could change your life, or at the very least spark a new passion for collecting. This hobby has a way of drawing you in, and once you start learning about the history, design, and value of coins, it becomes an endless adventure. We have reached the end of our deep dive into the 2019 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, from its roots in the Washington quarter legacy to its role in the America the Beautiful program, from its everyday presence in our currency to its extraordinary worth in rare circumstances. This coin is a testament to the enduring appeal of American numismatics, and who knows, maybe your next quarter could be worth $91,762 too. Thank you for joining us in this journey through coin history and value. If you enjoyed this story and want more tales of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the fascinating history of money, stay tuned for our next video. Until then, happy collecting, and always keep your eyes open, because you never know when the next treasure will fall into your hands. Welcome everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and numismatics. Today we are exploring one of the most surprising and valuable modern coins you might have in your change right now. The 2021 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter may look like any ordinary coin, but for collectors and experts it is a hidden treasure with a value that has shocked the coin collecting community at a staggering current market value of $72,938. This coin has earned its place among the most sought-after modern rarities. To understand why this coin is so special, we have to start from the very beginning with the history of the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 as a one-year commemorative coin to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington. The design was so popular that it replaced the standing Liberty quarter and became a permanent part of U.S. coinage. The original design, by John Flanagan, featured the bust of George Washington on the obverse side and an eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. For decades, the design remained largely unchanged, with only small adjustments in detail and engraving. Fast forward to the 21st century, the U.S. Mint began releasing special quarter designs as part of programs like the State Quarters Program, the America the Beautiful Quarters Program, and most recently the American Women Quarters Program. Each of these initiatives brought fresh and unique reverse designs to the coin while keeping Washington's portrait on the front. By 2021, the America the Beautiful program was coming to its end, and the final designs of that series were being released now. The coin we are discussing today is the 2021 P Mint Mark Washington quarter, minted in Philadelphia. The P Mint Mark simply tells us it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. This particular mint is known for producing some of the highest mintages in U.S. coinage history, but in rare cases, coins struck here can have errors, varieties, or unique features that make them incredibly valuable. So why is this 2021 P quarter so valuable? In the case of the $72,938 specimen, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and a unique striking anomaly. This coin is not just a high-grade example, it is believed to be a flawless mint state 70 or proof-like strike with full sharp details, perfect luster, and no visible imperfections. Coins of this quality are almost impossible to find in circulation because the slightest scratch or bag mark can drop their grade significantly. Experts believe that the particular coin that fetched this high price also had an extremely rare die variety. Some collectors suspect it was struck with an early die state that resulted in razor-sharp details and an almost mirror-like finish. Others suggest that it may have been struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or with a special treatment that was never meant for mass production. Whatever the case may be, the combination of an ultra-high grade and a rare striking anomaly turned an ordinary 25-cent coin into a numismatic legend. Now let us talk about the 2021 quarters in general. The 2021 designs included the final America the Beautiful quarter honoring the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site in Alabama. This reverse depicts a Tuskegee Airman pilot suiting up to join the fight during World War II, with the Moton Field Control Tower in the background and a pair of P-51 Mustangs soaring above. The design also carries the inscription "They fought two wars," referring to the struggle against fascism abroad and racial discrimination at home. This historical and meaningful design adds an extra layer of collectability to the 2021 quarters. While millions of these coins were minted, the vast majority will only ever be worth face value in circulated condition. However, when a coin survives in perfect condition straight from the mint and is then professionally graded it can attract intense bidding wars among collectors. This is exactly what happened with the record-setting example. The rarity of such a pristine coin from a regular business strike mint run is the main reason behind the massive valuation. Another factor that plays into the value is timing. The coin collecting market has been booming in recent years, with more people entering the hobby. Competition for the finest known specimens has reached unprecedented levels. Auctions featuring modern coins with top grades can see prices soar into the tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands for certain key dates or varieties. The 2021 P quarter that sold for $72,938 was the right coin at the right time, meeting the demand of top-tier collectors willing to pay a premium for the best. For anyone wondering if they might have a valuable 2021 P quarter, the first thing you should do is check its condition. Look for coins that have no scratches, no contact marks, and full detail on both sides. Pay attention to the luster, which should have a uniform bright appearance under light. If you think your coin might be high grade, consider having it professionally graded by a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC. They will certify the coin's authenticity, assign it a grade, and encapsulate it in a protective holder. This official certification is essential for getting top dollar at auction. You might also want to keep an eye out for possible errors on 2021 quarters. Errors can include things like doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual die breaks. While most will not be worth tens of thousands, even minor errors can still bring in a nice profit above face value. The US Mint produces billions of coins each year, so mistakes do happen and collectors love them. Now let's touch on the history of the Philadelphia Mint, where this quarter was struck. The Philadelphia Mint is the oldest mint facility in the United States. Founded in 1792, it has been producing coins for over 2 centuries and is responsible for many iconic and rare pieces of American coinage. The mint mark P began appearing on coins relatively late in history, since Philadelphia coins were traditionally made without any mint mark at all. Today, the P mint mark is a common sight on many denominations, but it still carries significance for collectors tracking where their coins were made. The 2021 P quarter is a perfect example of how even modern coins can achieve legendary status among collectors. Many people assume that only old coins from the 1800s or early 1900s can be worth big money, but this record-breaking sale proves otherwise. In fact, with modern minting technology producing such consistent quality, it is actually more difficult to find a coin that stands out from the millions produced. That is why when a perfect example emerges, it becomes a true prize. Imagine the journey of this coin. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint sometime in early 2021, sent out into the world, possibly intended for banks or circulation, yet somehow it avoided the scratches and marks that most coins pick up within days of leaving the mint. Maybe it was pulled from a fresh roll by a sharp-eyed collector, or perhaps it was saved in a mint-sealed bag. Whatever the case, this coin lived a life of protection until it was submitted for grading and certified as the finest known example. That certification transformed it from pocket change into a $72,938 masterpiece. In conclusion, the story of the 2021 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar worth $72,938 is a reminder to always check your change history. Value and rarity can be hiding in plain sight in something as ordinary as a quarter. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth a fortune. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just starting out, keep your eyes open and your curiosity alive. You never know when the next legendary coin might pass through your hands. Welcome back to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins. Today we are going to explore the incredible story of the 1980 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar, a coin that might seem like an ordinary piece of pocket change, but for some lucky collectors it has been worth tens of thousands of dollars, including one record sale that reached an astonishing $54,223. Yes, you've heard that right, over $54,000. For a quarter. Now, before we talk about why this coin can reach such a high value, let us take a journey back in time to understand its origins and place in American history. The Washington quarter dollar series began in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin features the portrait of George Washington on the obverse side and the American eagle on the reverse side. This design became a staple in American coinage for decades. and by 1980 it was already a familiar sight in circulation across the country. The 1980 P quarter was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The P Mint mark can be found just to the right of Washington's ponytail ribbon on the obverse side. For many years, quarters from Philadelphia did not carry a mint mark, but beginning in 1980 the P Mint mark became a standard identifying feature for coins struck there. This change marked an important shift in U.S. minting history because for the first time collectors could easily distinguish Philadelphia minted quarters from those made in Denver or San Francisco. In 1980, the United States was going through a period of economic change. Inflation was high, and the cost of living was increasing. The quarter dollar still had strong purchasing power in everyday life. This was also a time before widespread electronic payments, so coins were used daily in vending machines, parking meters, payphones, and more. Because quarters were so heavily circulated, finding one in pristine condition was rare. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 635 million quarters in 1980. That huge number might make you think these coins could never be rare or valuable, but as any experienced collector will tell you, rarity is not always about how many coins were made, but about how many survive in exceptional condition. With so many coins entering circulation almost immediately, the vast majority became worn and scratched over time. The few surviving examples that remain in flawless or near flawless condition are what attract serious collector interest. For the 1980 P quarter, the highest values are paid for coins graded by professional services at the very top of the mint state scale. These grades range from MS-65 to MS-68, and in some cases perfect examples have been sold at record-breaking prices. The $54,223 sale happened because a pristine example was graded at an extremely high level and had perfect luster, sharp details, and no visible marks. To understand why this coin fetched such a price, we must look at the concept of eye appeal. Eye appeal refers to the overall visual attractiveness of a coin. Factors like strong strike, bold details, smooth surfaces, and brilliant mint luster all play a role. Collectors and investors are willing to pay a premium for coins that look as if they were just minted yesterday, but condition is not the only factor. Certain errors and varieties can also boost the value of a 1980 P quarter. For example, coins with off-center strikes, die cracks, or double die obverse can become prized finds. Even minor striking anomalies can catch the attention of collectors who specialize in error coins. While most 1980 P quarters are worth only face value in circulated condition, a dramatic mint error combined with a high grade could result in a significant payday. When building a collection, many numismatists aim for a complete set of Washington quarters including all dates and mint marks. Having a high-grade 1980 P is important for such sets, especially for those aiming for registry competition. Registry sets are ranked collections graded and tracked by third-party services. Collectors compete to have the best set, and are willing to pay huge sums to upgrade a single coin if it means boosting their overall ranking. The $54,000 example stands as proof of how competitive and passionate this hobby can be. Imagine finding a coin in your loose change only to discover it is worth as much as a luxury car. It is not an impossible dream, because such coins have been found in old rolls of quarters saved from banks, or even sitting in forgotten jars at home. If you are hoping to find a valuable 1980 P quarter, here are a few tips. First, check the date and mint mark. The P will be just to the right of Washington's hair ribbon. Then examine the coin under good lighting. Look for sharp details in Washington's hair and the feathers on the eagle on the reverse side. Any weakness in these details could indicate a lower strike quality, which might affect value. Next, check the coin's surface for scratches, dings, or discoloration. Even tiny imperfections can drop the grade significantly. If you think you have a high-grade example, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies will authenticate and grade the coin, giving it a certified holder with the grade displayed. This can dramatically increase buyer confidence and in turn the selling price. Of course, not every 1980 P quarter is worth a fortune. In fact, most you find in change will be heavily circulated and only worth 25 cents, but the thrill of the hunt is what keeps collectors searching. It is the possibility that the next roll of quarters you open might contain a gem that changes your life financially. The Washington Quarter series eventually saw a major design change in 1999 when the state quarters program began. This brought new life and interest to the denomination, but coins from the earlier years like the 1980p still hold a special place in the hearts of numismatists. They represent a link to a different era in U.S. coinage. Over the years, the story of the record-setting 1980p quarter has been shared in coin magazines and collector forums. It serves as a reminder that incredible value can be hidden in plain sight. That unassuming quarter in your pocket could be a treasure waiting to be discovered. All it takes is a sharp-eye knowledge and a little bit of luck. So next time you get change at the store, take a moment to check your coins, look for that P mint mark, and inspect the condition carefully. You never know if you are holding a small piece of metal worth over $54,000. The history, craftsmanship, and rarity of the 1980p Washington quarter dollar make it one of the most fascinating coins in modern American numismatics. Thank you for joining me on this journey into coin history. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more about rare coins, valuable finds, and the secrets hidden in everyday pocket change, be sure to stay tuned for future episodes. Until then, keep searching, keep learning, and may your next coin find be the one that changes everything.